ISpeakSpokeSpoken. My name is James, and today we're starting a live video. So, as always, I'm going to wait until some people join. I know there's a bit of a delay before we start because, I think there's a bit of a delay between here and YouTube or wherever we are streaming. So, how are you guys doing? I'm going to open a window because I can hear all of the noises that I'm making echoing back at me. 1 second. Okay, that's a lot better. So how are we doing today? Let me know in the comments. As always, let me know how the weather's going where you are, and let me know how you are, because it's going well here. It's going well. It's nicer weather in England than it's been. It's a bit cold at the moment, but it's going well. It's going well. Hello, Michelle. How are you? But yeah, it looks like it's meant to be hot in England, but I think it's still pretty cold, to be honest with you. Hello, Joel. How are you? I hope that you're doing well too. I am doing well. I am well. I was incredibly sleep deprived yesterday, but I've actually managed to get my sleep pattern back to a pretty good place, which is nice because I always find I never perform as well in my daily life if I am tired, you know. That's perfect, Michelle. Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Is it raining? Oh gosh, it's not quite raining here, but it has been. It has been raining. So fingers crossed it doesn't, because I don't that's not what I want, because I have to go out this evening and I'd rather not be out in the rain. But yeah, no, I think that we can get started soon, actually, because people have come in quite fast today, which is nice. So yeah, we can get started. I hope that you're all doing well, as I've said. As I've also said, you can also put in the chat how you're doing, and we will go as we go. So, all right, Christian. Hello, how you doing? You're right. I hope that you're well. Geez, it's raining everywhere. Oh, Joel. Okay, so I've heard of this Van Gogh exhibition. There was one in London. I don't know if that was the one that you've been to, but there was one in London a few years ago, I remember. So yes, hello everybody. Let's get started. My laptop is on 11%, so hopefully I'll catch it before it runs out if I need to. All right, let's go. So today we are talking about 15 essential sentences to travel in English. So yes, Joel, yes, it was the same one. I'm guessing that yours isn't in English, but there was one in England as well. But yes, so 15 essential sentences to travel in English. So for a lot of people, traveling is one of their main reasons for learning English, isn't it? So you travel to an English-speaking country, or even just another country that you don't speak their language of, and then you're able to communicate with them. And it's good to be able to use some essential phrases to be able to communicate in these places, to be able to express what you want to say clearly, so then you get the answers that you would like. I know that in times where I've been to other countries and I've known only some phrases, it's been a lot harder for me to be specific with what I'm asking for, if you know what I mean. If I'm kind of asking where the shop is, I'm not able to ask for a specific shop or something like this. But yes, number one, we have greetings and basic interaction. So our first sentence here would be, how are you doing today? Oh, okay, Michelle, nice one. I hope that you enjoy it then. And obviously, if we do another live video after that, then you can let us know in the comments how it went. I hope that that goes well. But yes, how are you doing today? This is a nice phrase that we greet someone with. You might say, oh, hi, how are you doing today? And either in English, people respond to this with how are you doing today as well. It could actually be used as a hello, or it could be used as a way to ask how someone is. So be aware that if you ask someone how they're doing, they may actually respond with how you're doing as well. It's not always going to be responded with actually how they're feeling or something like this. So yeah, it shows interest in the person's well-being. It's a nice way, it's a friendly way to show that you care, and you're initiating a conversation. Great. So next up, we have one that is saying how to ask for directions. What is a direction? I'm sure that we all know what this is. It's a way to get somewhere. So maybe you would ask where the shop is, as I just said, and you might say, oh, it's down the road on the right. But here's a good way of asking for directions here. So you could say, could you please show me the way to the nearest subway station? So could you please show me the way? If you want to repeat that, could you please show me the way? Very good. So this could you please is framing the sentence as a question, as a question of asking them if they can do something. You see, and in doing this, you are making it seem less harsh in the way that you're asking it. It's less blunt. You're saying, could you please, instead of can you, or do this for me. You know, it doesn't seem like you're telling them to do something. You're asking them if they can. When actually, in fact, maybe sometimes you are actually telling someone to do something. You might be saying, could you please grab me a pen? And if they don't, it's like, why not? But you're saying it in a way that is nice and polite. Could you please show me the way to the nearest subway station? And you could actually swap out the me to the way with anything. So could you please grab me a pen? Could you please go to the shops for me? Could you please show me the way? It's like you can swap this out for many different things. Let me just silence my phone for a second. There we go. All right. So yes, it's that is the way that we do that. And yeah, this question is polite, it's specific. You're expressing exactly what you want the information for and where you want to go, what you want to get. And it's a way that the listener can actually provide the right help for you. So let's have a look at some of our red words here, shall we? And if you have been to these live sessions before, you will know that we like to repeat our red words here because they are words that we know are quite commonly mispronounced in English. So they're good ones to practice. So let's go through them now. I'll say them, you repeat them, I'll say them again, and then you repeat them again. So, number one, today. Today. Very good. Please. Please. Fabulous. Show. Show. Perfect, guys. Really, really, really good. Keep repeating. Next one, we have subway. Subway. Great. Okay, I'm going to grab my charger because my laptop is about to run out. So let me get my charger. That wouldn't be fun if my laptop just ran out in the middle of the class. Okay, just 1 second. There we go. And we're good. We're back. So that is our first page done. Let's move on, shall we? Okay, so quite often you might be ordering food in English. I mean, it's a very common thing that we do nowadays. We have Uber Eats, we call maybe a takeaway, and we want to be able to order food properly. So the sentence here is, I'd like to order the, and then you can add on whatever you want to order. So I'd like to order the grilled salmon, please. I'd like to order the grilled salmon, please. So yeah, as I said, this is the way of ordering something. Start with I'd like to. I would like to. And in doing this, you're also quite like pretty much the same way as in the last one. You're making it less blunt. I would, instead of I want. You see, I would like to instead of I want. Okay. So yes, as it says here, it's straightforward and polite, and it's perfect for dining scenarios. Next up, we have requesting a recommendation. So, if you don't know what a recommendation means, it is when someone tells you what they think is good. So, if you're in a restaurant or something, you might say to the waiter or waitress, you might say to them, "Hey, what would you recommend? What would you say is good here?" And it's a good way of getting the best thing on the menu because they're the people that would generally know most of the time. So the sentence here is, what do you recommend from the menu? Repeat after me. What do you recommend from the menu? Great. So yeah, asking for recommendations can often lead to delightful culinary experiences. Exactly what I just said there. Handling transportation we have next. Sorry, I have an itchy nose. So yeah, I mean, if you're traveling around England or an English-speaking country, it is very important to be able to ask questions, to be able to get yourself around safely and productively without getting lost. So yes, asking questions is a very good way to get to the right place at the right time. So the sentence here is, when is the next train to Manchester? So what you're asking here is when that train will arrive at the station that you are at, not when it will arrive in Manchester. So yeah, if you want to know when the train will be there, you say to them, when is the next train to Manchester? Or when is the next train to London, wherever you're going. You'll say this for. Okay, so yeah, as it says here, this is essential for managing your travel schedules efficiently. There we go. I just forgot how to read for a second there. So yeah, it's a way of doing it without getting lost, without missing your train, because you're trying to find what different ways of asking this question. You're saying it clearly and precisely. So, when is the next train to Manchester? It's a very good way of asking this. Let's have a look at our red words, shall we? Number one is grilled. Grilled. Number two, recommend. Recommend. Very good. Menu. As you can see here, we have our apostrophe and our full stop here, so we know that we have the first syllable as our stressed syllable. So not menu, it's menu. You see? There we go. And last but not least on this page, we have train. Train. Keep repeating, guys. The more you repeat, the better you will get at pronouncing these things, and also the more vocabulary that you will remember by the end. Let's move on. Okay, so when you're in England or America or an English-speaking country, you may want to go shopping, and you may want to know how much something costs. And yeah, some things may not have a label, and you might not want to go to the desk and kind of have to spend the money on that thing. You want to know before, so you might say to them, "How much is this?" You can show them it and say, "How much is this?" or "How much does this cost?" And yeah, it's a simple question, and it's indispensable for shopping. You should have this sentence if you would like to be able to shop efficiently. Next up, we have dealing with emergencies. So you never know what's going to happen, even when you're on holiday, and it's good to be able to deal with an emergency efficiently and helpfully. So you might want to say, "Can you help me? I've lost my passport." So you're asking someone to help. Can you help me? It's a polite way of asking this, but also quite firm. And then you might say, "I've lost my passport." If you've lost your passport, you could say, "Can you help me? My phone's been stolen. Can you help me? I can't find this place." Like you can ask, "Can you help me?" in any situation, and then add on whatever you want help with. And yeah, as it says here, it's direct, clear, and crucial, and also it is polite. You know, you're not saying "help me now," like you're saying "can you help me?" It's a polite way of doing this. Next up, we have checking into a hotel. So anyone who is on holiday knows that checking into a hotel is a crucial part of the journey, and it's very good to be able to do this efficiently. So we have the sentence, I have a reservation under the name Smith. So you can add the name, whichever name you put on the reservation, you will say as the name here. So I have a reservation under the name. So you say under. This is the one that we use. We use under. I have a reservation under the name Smith. And yeah, as it says here, this will smooth the process of checking into your accommodation. It will help you to be able to be clear and concise, and it will help them to be able to bring you to the right room without having any kind of difficulties in understanding. So let's have a look at some of our red words, shall we? Number one, help. Keep repeating after me. Help. Great. Lost. Lost. Passport. Passport. Perfect. Next up, we have reservation. Reservation. The part that sounds like ve is our stress syllable here. So reserve, our third syllable. I have a reservation, not reservation or reservation. Reservation. You see? Okay, let's move on, shall we? If you have any questions, make sure to put them in the chat and I will happily respond to them and answer them. Okay, so asking for clarification. Sometimes someone said something and you haven't quite understood it. So a good way to ask them to explain or to repeat is to say, could you please repeat that? You can say, could you please repeat that? And in doing so, they will most likely say again what they said, or maybe they'll say it in a more concise way that you'll understand. Hello, Josane. I hope you're well. It's good to have you back here. And yeah, we're looking at 15 essential sentences to travel in English. So you can carry on from here, or you can go back to the beginning, anything that you'd like. But I'm glad that you're here with us today. So yes, so you might say, yeah, could you repeat that? And they might give you even an easier way of understanding this. Yep, so it's completely acceptable to ask for repetition as it says here. Number 10, we have making complaints. So unfortunately, in some places you might have to complain because maybe you got the wrong order in a restaurant. Maybe the service wasn't good. So you might say, I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered. So I'm sorry is our way of kind of making it a bit lighter, what you're about to say, even though you're complaining. And then you might say afterwards, but this isn't what I ordered. So yeah, I'm sorry is your way of apologizing for complaining, and then you said the second part, which is actually what you mean. Okay. And as it says here, politely will resolve issues without conflict. People are more likely to respond in a polite way if you talk to them more politely, and that's how you do that with "I'm sorry" first. Next up, we have expressing gratitude. So gratitude is your thanks. So the sentence here is, thank you so much for your help. Thank you so much for your help. So yeah, this is our way of really kindly saying to someone that we're really, really grateful for what they've done and the help that they've given us. Thank you so much for your help. Very good. Next up, we have seeking permission. So permission is when someone lets you do something. So if you're, oh, wait, 1 second. I didn't forget our red words. There we go. So our first red word is could. Could. Repeat. repeat. Great job, guys. Keep on repeating, literally. Next one we have ordered. Ordered. And then last but not least on this page, we have so. So. Very good. Okay, so back to here. Permission is when you ask when someone lets you do something. So here's a way of asking for some permission. Is it all right if I take a photograph here? So you're asking first, is it all right? Is that okay with you? And then the second part is if I take a photograph here. So is it all right if I take a photograph here? Um, and this is kind of a question version of a conditional here. So if I take a photograph here, it is all right. Is it all right? So this is how you ask the question. Is it all right? You put the main part first, and then you put the if clause second as the question here. So is it all right? With the is at the beginning, of course. Is it all right if I take a photograph here? Very good. And this is a permission. This is asking a permission to, well, asking for permission is a sign of respect towards others and their space. Exactly. Okay, number 13 is booking or reserving. So booking or reserving means that you are you've maybe called ahead to ask for a space in a restaurant, in any place that maybe you need to ask for a space to be in at a specific time. So the sentence here is, could I make a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m.? Once again, we use could as a way of dampening the bluntness of the sentence. So instead of saying, can I make a reservation or make me a reservation, which wouldn't be polite, you're saying, could I make a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m.? And yeah, it's useful for secure dining or travel recommendation, for securing dining or travel arrangements. So maybe there's a restaurant that is usually very busy. You want to book as early as possible to stop there being any complications or anything. Okay, let's move on to number 14, shall we? Number 14 is asking for language help. And this could help you a lot. Even for someone speaking slowly or speaking with much more simple language, or even if someone can speak your language, this is a good way of saying this. So how do you say thank you in your language? So yeah, you might be talking in English to someone who is from somewhere that isn't where you're from, and you might want to ask them, oh, how do I say this in your language? And it's a nice way of showing interest in someone else's culture, someone else's language, and it's just really polite and nice. It's a nice thing to do, in my opinion. Okay, so let's have a look at some of our red words. So number 1 is take. Take. Very good. Photograph. Photograph. Okay, next up we have make. Make. Great. Reservation. Reservation. Fabulous. All right, here's our penultimate one, the second from last. Say. No, the third from last. Say. Great. And then our penultimate one. Thank. Make sure to get the sound. Thank. Great. And then last but not least on this page, we have language. Language. Great. Really good job. And then we're on our last page here, 6 out of 6. And what we have here is saying goodbye. So maybe you've just met someone and you want to say goodbye to them, or maybe you've spent a bit more time with that person and you're saying goodbye, which can be a sad thing, but here's a good way of doing that. So the sentence is, it was lovely meeting you. Goodbye. So if you want to repeat that, it was lovely meeting you. Goodbye. Okay, so yeah, this is a way of telling somebody how much it meant to you that you met, and then you're saying a polite goodbye. Okay, let's go back because we have a bit more time. We went through these quite fast today. Let's go back through our red words, and then we will close the live up here. So, number one, today. Today. Very good. Number two, please. Please. Show. Show. Subway. Subway. Station. Station. Great. So the sentences here are, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? And the second one is, could you please show me the way to the nearest subway station? Could you please show me the way to the nearest subway station? Great. Next page. We have our red words here. Grilled. Grilled. Recommend. Recommend. Menu. Menu. Train. Train. Okay, the first sentence here is, I'd like to order the grilled salmon, please. I'd like to order the grilled salmon, please. Number two, what do you recommend from the menu? What do you recommend from the menu? And number three here is, when is the next train to Manchester? When is the next train to Manchester? Okay. Next slide is, our red words are help. Help. Lost. Lost. Passport. Passport. Great. Reservation. Reservation. Okay, so the first sentence here was, where was it? How much is this? How much is this? Number two, can you help me? I've lost my passport. If you want to repeat after me. Can you help me? I've lost my passport. Next sentence is, I have a reservation under the name Smith. Or you can say it with your name. So, I have a reservation under the name James. Very good. Slide 4 is first word is could. Could. Repeat. Repeat. Ordered. Ordered. So. So. Okay, so the first sentence is, could you please repeat that? Could you please repeat that? Next sentence is, I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered. I'm sorry, but this isn't what I ordered. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you so much for your help. Very good. Our penultimate slide. So word number one is take. Take. Okay. Photograph. Photograph. Great. Because in English, we take a photograph, we don't make a photograph. There we go. And then we have make, funnily enough. make. Perfect. Reservation. Reservation. Okay. Say. Say. Thank. Thank. Language. Language. Okay, so here's our sentences. Is it all right if I take a photograph here? Is it all right if I take a photograph here? Could I make a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m.? You hear how the inflection in my voice goes up at the end? This quite often happens when you're asking a question. It's a good way to indicate that it's a question. Could I please make a reservation for 2 at 7 p.m.? Okay. How do you say thank you in your language? Very good. How do you say thank you in your language? Great job. And last but not least, we have the red word, lovely. Lovely. And the sentence is, it was lovely meeting you. Goodbye. Keep repeating. It was lovely meeting you. Goodbye. Okay, guys, so it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope that you've enjoyed the lesson. I hope that you've kind of like it's no pressure if you haven't remembered all of these words, but they're good to kind of go over and try and familiarize yourself with them. And even if you can't use them straight away, at least you know them. You know, you'll recognize them when you see them, and maybe it takes another 2, 3, or 10 times of seeing it to remember it. But that's the fun of language, isn't it? It's some things stick, some things don't, and it's about just accepting that process and just kind of having fun with it. You know, that's a big part of language learning. But you're all doing really well, and I'm super proud. The link to the live isn't the link to all of the things that you've seen in the background here, all of these slides will be in the comments and the description of the live streams. They're not right now because Adrian isn't there right now, but he will put them there in time. So you'll be able to get all of those things and look at them in your spare time. And believe me, the more you do that, the better it will get. You can always go back to the start of this video again as well and just go through it. And believe me, you'll remember them. You'll remember all of the red words. And yes, it's been lovely meeting you all as well, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, Joel. It's been awesome. And yeah, just have a great one. It's been a pleasure as always. And I will see you all very soon. So thank you all. Have a great one. Have a great week. I hope the weather gets better for anyone who it's been rainy for or cold. And have a great one. Bye-bye, everybody.